Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have the 2013 Hungarian Grand Prix. Let's get into the video. We saw the reign of Webber falter last time out at the German Grand Prix, where he only scored a single point. Lewis Hamilton and Rosberg closing in, and Sebastian Vettel won the race in dominant fashion to climb above Perez in the championship. This is the second half of the championship, where Early sits in 18th place. Mercedes closed the gap to Red Bull at the top of the Constructors' Championship, and the rest of the championship looks like this, with Williams still 3 points ahead of Marussia. There is rain in the air this weekend. It could be tasty. Let's find out what happened in qualifying. Can't park there, mate. My first runs were okay. A good lap here at the end of the Q1 session. I could actually get into Q2. Moment of truth. Have I done enough on this lap to claw my way into Q2? Yes, I have. What a lap. No idea how I managed that, but we've got a lot of pace this weekend, which I'm very happy about. This is a very tricky circuit usually. We go through in 13th place. Bottas and Maldonado, his teammate, knocked out. So is Gutierrez, Van der Garde, Peak, and my teammate Bianchi last. And these are the top guys at the front. Rosberg leading Hamilton. Oh my god, that was so close, but full commitment. That's my one and only lap in Q2. Let's see how it is. It's 13th place. I'm happy with that, actually. No chance of gaining another half second. So we finished in 13th place, ahead of Ricciardo, Verne and Suttil, behind Di Resta and Perez, who also get knocked out. As Rosberg, once again, first place. 48% chance of rain in the race here today. And this is how they line up. It is Rosberg on pole position ahead of Vettel. Mark Webber starts in third alongside his championship rival Lewis Hamilton. Alonso and Raikkonen on row 3. Then it's Felipe Massa in the second Ferrari ahead of Jenson Button, Romain Grosjean and Nico Hülkenberg rounding out the top 10. We already know the rest of the grid. If you want to pause and read, you can do. Let's have a look at the strategy then. It's going to be mixed up because of the rain, but if it stays dry for the 70 laps, it's option prime. Option prime, because why not? And who knows what's possible today. I really think maybe there's an outside shot at points. Let's get into it. Well, there's only one more thing to do, and that's go racing. The 2013 Hungarian Grand Prix is next. Starting up in 13th. Who would have believed it? As the 5 lights are on, and we are underway here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And it's double geared for some reason, so I've lost already 5 positions down towards turn 1. Not 5 positions, 3. And so we slam on the brakes for that first corner. Take it easy. Whoa, Ricciardo very stationary on the inside there. Get a switch back on Jean-Eric Verne, who's on my outside now. As I'm back up to the position I started the race in. It's down towards turn 2 we go. Perez has been hit by Ricciardo. I find my way to the inside of the McLaren. And now suddenly, 13th place turns into 11th, potentially 10th place. We're into the points. And Marussia in the points. Here comes Perez, though, looking to attack into turn 4. That's not going to work for the Mexican. And I've gone wide at turn 4. Brilliant. As we're behind both the Ferraris. So Alonso had a poor start. Massa had a start. I think a poor start as well. They're 8th and 9th. Perez looking to the inside for turn 1. And the McLaren driver's going to try for the move. Sort of backs out of it. It's the classic Codemasters AI, really, where they'll draw side by side. It should be fairly easy to outbrake you at that point, and then they just, give up. Right now, the car is handling like a boat. The Ferraris are dropping me, which is to be expected. I'm in a Marussia, and I've got a train of cars that leads all the way back to 18th place. Right behind me, as you can see. Sergio Perez has a reputation this season of qualifying poorly, but racing really well. And that reputation is going to be put on hold today, because he's going to be stuck behind me for at least the whole first stint. And that's wide at turn 4. Second mistake into that corner. I still remain in 10th place. It's known as the Monaco without the walls, isn't it, Hungary? Because it's so difficult to pass. But there is still walls, so it doesn't really hold up. Look at the state of this. Look at that train. That's ridiculous. 10% of the way through the race, Rosberg still leads. His teammate Hamilton is second. Then it's Vettel ahead of his teammate Webber. So Mercedes versus Red Bull, as we've come to learn, is the battle this year. I am slower than all of these guys. I'm only faster than my other back marker guys, you know, the Caterhams and my teammate. These tyres need to get to the end of lap 15. Look at the state of them on lap 9. They might just explode in a couple laps. That's Perez's best run to the inside. It's turn 1. You just can't do it, can they? They just cannot overtake. And he's lost the position to Di Resta in the background. We need to do 5 more laps on these tyres. Come on, you can hold on. Well, good news is I'm actually only holding up a couple drivers now. Maybe even one. It's just Perez really in this train. So the train is spread out, which shows my pace is okay. As Perez pulls side by side with me down towards turn 1. He's actually outbroke me. There's a wing at turn 1 as well. Well, he outbroke me, and then he kind of gave up mid-corner. So he maintains 10th place. I was going to say 17th. 17th. Come on, I'm better than that. Okay, 2 more laps on these poor tyres. Then we can put some fresh primes on. Hello? I don't think I've ever seen my tyres this bad before. It's extreme. We're boxing at the end of this lap. As Perez looks to the inside. I'll defend a little bit. He goes to the outside instead. He's trying to outbrake me. It's not going to work. And I've got the train behind me again now. So my speed is gone. And we're going to box. Perez stays out. Loads of other drivers behind me. That's the Resta directly behind. I think one of the Toro Rosso's in. And a few drivers in front also into the pits. I think. Maybe. Oh, the McLaren of Button was in. And maybe the front runners. I'm not sure. But this is going to be a race in the pit lane then. This is crucial if we want to stay in the points after the pit stop phase has worked itself out. It's a 3.1 second stop. We stay ahead of everybody. The rest are lost out big time there. As we rejoin in 14th place on the primes. Some drivers in the pits. That's Perez rejoining as Ricciardo goes up my inside. And he's tight into turn 1. They're on the option tyres as well. No wonder he's quicker than me. Perez gets through, which is slightly annoying. And we're in 12th place. There must be somebody in the top 10 who's not boxed yet. Well, so much for points. Perez is running away. Ricciardo attacking me. It's turn 1. He's actually got to the apex first. No. I hate how they do that. They back out. Because I would like to be overtaken by AI. I know that sounds weird. But there's no fun in overtaking the AI when they can't do the same to you. After the pit stops, it's Rosberg still leading. Vettel is now up ahead of Hamilton. Hamilton runs in 3rd ahead of Mark Webber. And Vettel's setting fastest lap to the race. He was pretty close to the race leader. It's weird because Vettel for the first 8 races of the season was a surefire way to drop a stinker in a race because he was just rubbish. And then suddenly he dominated the German Grand Prix and he's turned up at Hungary and he's the fastest driver on the track. Gutierrez now the driver behind me, so he must have passed Ricciardo. And now he's trying his hand at turn 1 and then he loses out to Ricciardo. I feel like this is going to happen lap after lap after lap. And Vettel has now taken the race lead, so overtaking at this track is possible. And he could be on for his 2nd victory in a row. I think I've just been hit. I think Gutierrez just ran into the back of me. They're getting desperate. They're getting so desperate. But it's weird, because they're not desperate enough to actually outbrake me. Oh, we got a yellow in sector 2. Somebody stopped, I think it's turn 5. Yeah, it's at turn 5, about 3 or 4 drivers stationary. I hope they're still there by the time I get there. What? Somebody's got a drive-through penalty. I've never heard that in this game so far. That's incredible. And a couple drivers without front wing, including, oh god, Felipe Massa, Charles Pic. He must have crashed with Pic. As round the outside of Massa we go, into 11th place. But there's nothing on the race incidents thing, but I don't think it shows the AI's penalties for some reason. But either Massa or Charles Pic has a drive-through. Webber pumping in some seriously quick lap times at the moment. He could be a challenge for his teammate Vettel. The Red Bulls going at it for the victory today. Seb fans out there aren't going to like this. Mark Webber's in the lead of the race. So he must have gone from 4th place, overtaken both Mercedes and overtook his teammate. And now he leads. And that could be race victory number 6 of the season for Mark Webber. We're 15 minutes away from light rain, says Andy, the race engineer. We'll be boxing on lap 35 for a set of the options, which will be probably in about 15 minutes time, maybe. So if we can extend the life of these prime tyres, we might be able to move straight onto the intermediates. There's a Gutierrez to my outside. It's brave. He's actually got it ahead. No. You know what? That was the best attempt the AI have had so far. I put another engine in the car this weekend. Not that this circuit is really power dependent, but we have 8 over the whole season, and for the first, 7 races, I was using the same engine. So we can pretty much replace the engine every 2 races. 10 minutes time until the light rain. Let's have a look at the state of the tyres. They're not bad. They're not bad. I think they can do another 10 minutes. But of course, that's when the light rain starts. We'd have to have another maybe 5 minutes of light rain before we switch to the intermediates. So could these tyres do another 15 minutes of driving? We may as well attempt it. There's drivers in the pits for their second stops, and of course, that's because a load of them are on the option tyres, aren't they? That makes me feel slightly better about the train I was leading. Perez in the pits, and he's just about rejoining now. So he did pull a pit stop gap back to me during that second stint, and he rejoins ahead. I've got a massive gap behind me now. I do have not red flags, red flags. Whoa, blue flags for the race leader. 5 minutes till the rain now. Our original pit stop lap was 35, which will be in about, I'd say, 4 minutes. So we're going to have to extend. So it's lap 35, and he says, stop this lap. We will not stop this lap. We also have a KERS problem, so I can't use that. Come on, we've got to start seeing some rain here to make this work. I do not want to have to pit and then pit the lap after it for intermediate tyres. I feel like these tyres can do another 3 or 4 laps before exploding. Also, as we cross the line, we are exactly halfway through this first season in F1 2013. And at the halfway point, it is Webber leading Vettel. Hamilton in third, ahead of Rosberg. So Rosberg, the pole sitter, who was leading for at least a bit of the first stint, is now outside the podium. That's deja vu. I've got lapped by Webber again. He must have boxed. And I'm pretty sure I just did see a little bit of rainfall. All those drivers who boxed from the options onto the primes about 4 laps ago, 5 laps ago, they're right behind me. That's incredible how much pace they have. Gutierrez, I think it must be Daniel Ricciardo and somebody else in the background. Yellow flag in sector 2. Something's happened at the really tight chicane on the exit of turn, I think it's turn 6 or 7. It's got going again though. So Webber's just set a fastest lap, 1:22.9. And considering the conditions, that's pretty crazy. And so that's Gutierrez on my outside. He's not going to make the move there. It's got to be maybe 2 laps, maybe 1 lap away from intermediate conditions. I'm not sure how much more these tyres can take. We've got to make the switch to intermediate soon. It's not quite wet enough. It's so close. Hamilton up to second. There we go. And we get the call to switch to intermediates as well as the tyre grip completely disappears. So we boxed at the end of this lap. In we go. I got Rosberg right behind me. He was about to lap me as well. So we're all into the pits for the intermediates. The rain looks to be intensifying as well, so I imagine the wets will be needed at some point. Good job from the crew there. 3.1 will rejoin in the position we boxed in, 11th. Perez and Hulkenberg, 9th and 10th place. They stayed out. Can you believe it? They stayed out for an extra lap. I don't know why they did that. Okay, they're boxed now. They were a minute ahead of me anyway, so there was no chance I was jumping ahead of them. But we are in 11th place with 30 laps to go. Vettel's got past Hamilton again, so it is a Webber-Vettel 1-2. Hamilton third. Raikkonen now ahead of Rosberg. So Nico Rosberg slipping even further down. Pretty sure it's getting wetter. Like pushing towards the wet tyre mark. Maybe next lap, actually. I see the rear tyres pretty cold. Yellow in sector 2 again. Seems to be the final 2 corners. Somebody's had a moment. Oh, it's horrendously wide. And through goes Ricciardo. I've actually lost the position on track. We're going to fight back, though, because Ricciardo, I don't know, just gave me the position back. Maybe he felt bad for me. But everybody's in the pits this lap for the wets. God, there's no grip at all. Into the pits we go for the wets. That's definitely the needed tyre right now. There'll be a race in the pit lane between Ricciardo, De Resta, Early, and I think there's a Sauber of Gutierrez in there as well. It's a 3.183. Beautiful stop, and we're out in 11th place. Webber, Vettel, Hamilton still the top 3 after the switch to wet tyres. And Rosberg's back ahead of Raikkonen again. Raikkonen's teammate Grosjean, who was in 6th place for most of the race, is down in 10th now. I have a feeling he was the driver that caused the yellow flag in the final sector. Pretty sure these tyres will be able to comfortably get to the end. The wet tyre seems to be a very durable tyre, as we learnt in Germany. Alonso's now in 10th place. 2 drivers out the race. Raikkonen and Alonso, I imagine, have crashed together. They're both out. And suddenly, my 11th place, teetering on the edge of points, has become 9th place. I'm in a points position. And Button in the pits. That's strange. Must have had damage. There's no way he's boxing just for the fun of it or for a strategy choice. As we reach lap 50, I am locked in right now, trying to avoid making any silly mistakes. I want to score these points. You'll remember the last time I was in 9th place in heavy rain conditions was the last lap of Monaco. And that didn't end according to plan. For the second time this race, my KERS has gone offline. That's going to slow me down a little bit. There's a Ricciardo, Di Resta, and I don't know who that is in the background. It must be Gutierrez. It's got to be Gutierrez. They're all pretty close to me. They're the only 3 that are actually close to me, though. You'll remember me saying at the start, when we were ahead of Perez, I said, oh, Perez, he's had great races through the field this season, but it's not going to happen today because he'd be stuck behind me. Well, he got past me, and now he's in 5th place. And Nico Hulkenberg, who I'm pretty sure was also behind me at one point, is in 6th. The mid-season contract offers happen after the Hungarian Grand Prix. I don't know if we'll actually get any good ones. I am tempted to just stay with Marussia for the whole season, though. I don't know. Something about moving mid-season puts me off. I know I've done it in 2012. I don't think I want to do it in 2013. I'd rather see out a full season in a team. Also, the amount of people saying, oh, I should skip F1 2014 and do the 2014 season on 2015 scares me a little bit. I'm expecting, when I do move to F1 2014, for the views to be just half of what they are on 2012 or 2013. And Suttil now the driver behind me. Where's Di Resta? I thought Di Resta was the Force India in that train. Apparently it's Suttil. As I fall 2 laps down on the race leader, which is okay. That means we have to finish 68 laps as it stands. Light rain in 15 minutes. I imagine we'll be at the end of the race by the time that happens. It might be one of those where it's intermediate conditions for the final 2 laps, but nobody switches. I think that's what happened in Germany as well. Oh my god. That's going to give the position to Ricciardo, but as the AI do, they slow down on the inside, and I'll retake it. I think I just lost concentration a little bit. I was thinking about walking up a hill. I say this all the time. As soon as I make a mistake, I explain what I was thinking about which caused the mistake. I was thinking, oh, I could walk up this hill that is nearby my house because it's a nice day outside. That's what was going through my head. Wow. Lapped by Perez, the driver who I was in front of for the first stint. And huge news. Mark Webber has retired from the race lead. Mark Webber, who only scored 1 point in the German Grand Prix, the driver dominating the championship with 5 victories this season, he's out. That means I'm going to be up to 8th place. So can we start calling Vettel the Rainmaster, or is that trademarked by Schumacher? The last 2 races, including this one, German and Hungarian Grand Prix, when the weather gets rough, Vettel gets tough. That doesn't make any sense. Vettel gets good when the weather is... I've just been hit. by Gutierrez. I think that's Vettel lapping everybody now as well. So I will once again fall 2 laps down on the race lead. Button into the pits for the 6th time today. For some reason. I'm not sure why. My tyres are... Actually, to be fair, they're quite worn. So maybe they're actually just replacing the wet tyres. It's a yellow flag in the middle sector. And about 4 cars are stopped. And I think it's when Vettel was lapping people. So is Vettel okay? Well, it's all clear now. Vettel still has the lead. But maybe it wasn't him. Oh, Vettel's right behind me. No, it definitely was not Vettel. I think it was actually some of those drivers I was racing against. Vettel goes quick when the circuit is slick. Sky does seem a bit brighter now with 5 laps to go. So I imagine the rain is easing off. Yeah, I seem to see some sort of racing line forming. Not a dry line, but a slightly less wet line. 2 laps to go. It looks like we're on course for our best result of the season. We had those 2 10th place finishes. And we're about to... What would that be? Triple our points? Yeah, we'll be up to 6 points. I've got a train of 6 cars behind me for some reason. I don't know where they've come from. Some of them have to be the lapping cars, surely. And Maldonado suddenly the driver behind me, which was not what we needed at all. We did not want Williams scoring good points today. We didn't want them scoring any points. I think Maldonado's just taken that position at turn 1 on the final lap. Ah yes, the classic blue flags don't count on the last lap, with Hamilton and Button right behind me. As I round the final corner for the final time, it's going to be our best result in F1 2013 as Vettel wins the race. Get in there. Really happy with that one. The only downer is Maldonado getting into the points at the end, but Vettel wins back-to-back races this season ahead of Hamilton and Rosberg. Sergio Perez finishes in 4th place after starting down in 11th, and Hulkenberg, a similarly impressive result, up 5 positions to finish in 5th ahead of Grosjean. Button early, 4 points, get in there. Maldonado and Gutierrez scoring a point. Both Toro Rossos miss out in the end, and both Force Indies also out of the points. The Williams of Bottas down in 15th, Then it's Felipe Massa's Ferrari, who had damage and then had a drive-through penalty. Jules Bianchi finishes ahead of both Caterhams. 3 retirements, and it was 3 big names. Mark Webber, championship leader, Kimi Raikkonen, and Fernando Alonso. Webber still leads the championship. His 50-point lead, which it was after, I think it was the Canadian Grand Prix, is down to just 18 points. Hamilton is closing in, and Rosberg only 27 points off the lead now as well. Sebastian Vettel is quickly asserting himself as a championship contender after those 2 back-to-back victories. He's now in 4th place, tied with Raikkonen, but ahead because Vettel has 2 victories to Raikkonen's 1. Fernando Alonso slips down to 6th place. Perez scored points today, good points as well. Hulkenberg did the same. He's up to 60 points scored for the season. Where is James Early? Early's up 3 positions. He's up to 15th place. He's ahead of the Williams of Bottas. He's ahead of Maldonado as well. So I'm ahead of both Williams, which is good. But Williams still ahead of Marussia because of Maldonado's 2 points here today. It's tied at the top between Red Bull and Mercedes. That ongoing battle, fascinating as we're halfway through the season now. Lotus lead Ferrari, then it's McLaren making it past 100 points scored. Sauber, all their points pretty much coming by way of Nico Hulkenberg. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you want to watch these videos a day earlier than anybody else, check out channel memberships and like and subscribe. And have a nice day. Goodbye.